first album gave birth to some of rock's greatest anthems. What's it like to be the Stacey Jacks?
Stacey, you made it.
Hey, man.
Hey, man.
No, this is Hey, man.
Hey, man.
Okay, so last night I went and saw Rock of Ages. I was not really planning on seeing this movie, but fate kind of intervened. Story time. Yesterday evening, around 6 o'clock or so, power goes out in my house. Not just on my house, but on every house on my street, and also the street just south of ours. Everywhere else in the surrounding area was fine. It was just a very isolated case, and I don't know what caused it, what blew up, who tripped over what, but you know, I kept waiting, hoping the power would come on, hoping it was just a simple brownout or something, but nope, kept going. 7 o'clock, still out. 8 o'clock, still out. 9 o'clock, still out. By the time it gets to about 9:30, I'm thinking, okay, it's probably not coming back on anytime soon, and it's really dark, but I'm not tired, so I don't really want to go to bed, so I need to do something. So I thought, well, I can just go hang out at a bar for a little while, have a couple drinks, just chill out. At least I'll be in some place that's air conditioned, so I won't be sitting in this sweaty hellhole with no air conditioning. But I wasn't really in a drinking mood, so I thought, well, maybe I can see a movie. What are the new releases? Let's see. We got Rock of Ages, and we have That's My Boy. I think I've had enough Adam Sandler to last me the rest of this decade, so I went with Rock of Ages. And when it's all said and done, it's okay. It's about as close to glowing praise as I can get. It's okay. It's nothing special. I haven't seen the original off-Broadway musical, so I'm going into this cold. I did read a summary of the musical online on Wikipedia, and from what I've read there, it sounds like the play would have been much better. Just mainly for the story and also for their choice of music. But anyway, the story, there's basically two stories going on at the same time. The first story is a romance between Drew, played by Diego Boneta, who is a busser at a club called The Bourbon, which is supposed to be like a kind of an homage to Whiskey A Go-Go, something of that nature. And Sherry, who is played by Julianne Howe, I hope I'm saying that right, who is a girl from a small town in Oklahoma, not Kansas, as it was in the musical. I'm not sure why they changed that, but oh well. And so they meet, they end up both working at the club and fall in love over time, and it's pretty much your standard cookie-cutter romance. It is bland as all hell. It's like boy meets girl, they fall in love, due to a misunderstanding, they separate for a while, they end up getting miserable, they get back together, all's right with the world, the end. Same story you've seen a million, billion, trillion times before. Nothing new here. Move along, people, nothing to see here. And it's not just bland because of the story, but because they're really, Diego and Julianne have no business being lead actors. They really don't. There's nothing exciting about either of these two. They are, I mean, not just in terms of stage presence, but also in terms of singing. Not because they're bad singers at all. They're both very good. But this movie is all about rock music. I mean, that's the concept behind this music, behind this movie, is they take existing rock music from the 80s and kind of build a story around it, similar to what they did with Across the Universe and the music of the Beatles. And this kind of suffers from the same problems as Across the Universe, but I'll get to that later. But yeah, the problem is, I mean, Julianne is a country singer, I believe, and Diego does Latin pop. I haven't heard the music from either of those two, but I know that's the kind of music they do, and they sound like it. I mean, they do not sound like rock singers, and yet they're trying to sing rock music, and it doesn't fit at all. They really, poor casting choice. Very poor casting choice. I mean, they have no presence musically, and for stage presence, they are generic pretty boy number 2 and generic blonde girl number 5. That's it. Story number 2, which has some much more exciting characters, focuses on the owners of the bourbon, Dennis, played by Alec Baldwin, in an obvious wig, and Lonnie, played by Russell Brand, also in an obvious wig. And it's Blood Rain all over again. And they're losing tons of money and are in danger of getting shut down for tax evasion. And the campaign to shut them down is being led by the wife of Los Angeles' mayor, who is played by Catherine Zeta-Jones. I forget her character's name, but it doesn't matter. She's the mayor's wife, and she is the soccer mom to end all soccer moms. You know, hell-bent on ridding the world from the evils of rock and roll. Pretty sure we've heard that story before too, but oh well. Basically, they're trying to save the club with a little bit of help from Stacey Jacks, played by Tom Cruise, and his band Arsenal. They're about to break up and go their separate ways, and Stacey's going to embark on a solo career, but they're going to do one last show at the Bourbon as a favor to Dennis, who I guess is an old friend of Stacey's, to try to bring in enough money to save the club. And yeah, much more exciting story, mainly due to Russell Brand and Tom Cruise, who seem to be fighting with each other throughout the movie to see who can steal the show. I think Cruise pulls it off, but only just. I mean, every time Russell Brand is on screen, he's saying something hilarious, pretty much. He's a very exciting character. But Tom Cruise is just your basic cocaine-riddled rock star whose mind left him a long time ago. And it plays the part perfectly. And apparently he's a decent singer. Who knew? And he has a monkey. What more do I need to tell you after that? Monkey, therefore awesome. The end. That's it. But yeah, like I said, I haven't seen the musical, but from what I've read, they made a lot of changes, which some of them, I kind of understand why they made them, but some of the changes seem to be made either just for the sake of making changes or because the writers are pussies. Like I mentioned already, Sherry being from Oklahoma instead of Kansas, which, you know, doesn't really affect the plot either way. You know, she's from a small town, not used to the Southern California lifestyle. That's all you need to know. She can be from freaking Nebraska. It doesn't matter. It accomplishes the same thing. But why change it? I don't know. Catherine Zeta-Jones' character and the whole political struggle against the evils of rock and roll, that was not in the play either. That was purely an addition for the movie. It works, I guess, but like I said, it's not original at all. Also, in the play, Stacey Jacks, I believe, gets, in the end, accused of statutory rape and has to flee into hiding in Uruguay. Why Uruguay, I don't know, but yeah, that's how it ends. And in the movie, minor spoiler alert, he has a happy ending. Gets married, starts a family, reunites with his band, all's right with the world. Was the bittersweet ending just really too much for you, writers? That's what I mean by the writers being pussies. This feels so watered down and just so generic. They they should have stuck to the source material and just, you know, if you want to make little minor changes here and there for the big screen, that's fine. But God, this story was lame. Absolutely lame. As far as the music goes, like I said, it has some of the same problems that Across the Universe had, in that some of the songs worked very well and others did not. Like some of the songs that did work well, especially the mashups, they had a few scenes here and there where you'd have like certain characters singing one song and other characters singing another song at the same time, and just kind of mixing between the two, and it works very well. Like there's one right at the beginning of the film, which I believe is also from the play, where they're combining Jukebox Hero and I Love Rock and Roll, and later on they combine More Than Words and Heaven. And the way they do it, you'd swear that that's how the songs were written to begin with. I mean, it's done perfectly. Works absolutely well. Other songs just felt like they were there to kind of pad the running time or to give the characters something to sing about. And boy, there is a lot of padding in this movie. This movie is just a hair over 2 hours long. They easily could have cut it to 90 minutes. In fact, at about the 90-minute mark, I was thinking, you know, this movie should really be over by now. Why is it not over? It dragged on way too long. And some songs, again, like Across the Universe, just didn't seem to fit the story at all. There's one moment in particular that stands out. When Drew eventually, tries to embark on his own rock and roll career, and his band is supposed to be opening up for Tom Cruise's band, Arsenal. And just before they go on stage, Drew catches Sherry kind of stumbling out of Stacey Jax's dressing room, and Stacey's pants have been loosened, and Sherry's shoulder strap is also falling off. It gives the impression that they've just had sex, which actually, from what I've read, did happen in the play. But in the movie, it's just a misunderstanding. Again, the writers are pussies. And so then I'm thinking, okay, he's about to go on stage. This seems like a good opportunity for some kind of an anti-love song. Like something like Love Stinks, or perhaps I Hate Myself for Loving You, which was in the play. No. He sings Twisted Sister's I Wanna Rock. I like the song, but what the fuck does that have to do with what just happened? It's like, look, there's the opportunity. There it is. Look, it's going. It's going. Get it quick. Get it quick. Quick. Get it. Get it. Oh, you missed it. And again, it doesn't help that he does not have the right voice for that song. He really does not. It sounds like an R&B singer trying to do Twisted Sister, and picture that in your head. That's exactly what it sounds like. For the slower songs like the ballads, yeah, his voice works. But for the heavier, angrier stuff, no, really doesn't. Anything else I need to say? I don't think so. That's pretty much it. This is a very thin plot. There's not much to talk about there. Actually, there is one more thing. There is another musical number where Catherine Zeta-Jones and her army of soccer moms are singing about how they're going to take down Stacey Jax and the evils of rock and roll. And they're doing this by singing Hit Me With Your Best Shot. Okay, that works. But my God, the little dance number that they did during that song was the most god-awful, awkward-looking dance I have ever seen. Maybe they were intentionally trying to make it look bad, like, this is an army of soccer moms. They don't get rock music, so of course they're going to do a poor job of singing and dancing to it. I really hope that's what they were going for, because if that was not supposed to be intentionally bad, whoever choreographed that number needs to be hit with someone's best shot, because it was awful. Awful. Oh, God. Absolutely awful. That's about it. Is it worth seeing? If you don't like 80s rock, no, because that's 75% of the movie. If you don't like that kind of music, don't bother, because there's nothing else here for you. If you do like that kind of music, wait for the DVD. Give it a rental. It's not worth seeing on the big screen. It's not a movie like The Avengers where it actually makes sense to see it on the big screen because of the visuals and the spectacle and all that. There's none of that here. Don't bother.